Hello and welcome to what I call a new video, and today we are going to be talking about your video ideas. For you see, you gave me a bunch of video ideas for absolutely no goddamn reason. Like, I didn't even ask for your video ideas, I was just saying that I was running out of them, and suddenly you were all at the goddamn fence. Also, subscribe. 5,000 subscribers, Lamar. You gonna like what I do. But also, before we start, I do want to address this comment right here and this comment right here, because a lot of people have been asking me whether they can use my ideas or also format in their videos. And to that, I can only say the exact same thing every single time. I do not have a monopoly on ideas, nor do I have a monopoly on format. If you feel inspired by anything I do, I can only encourage it. To gatekeep creativity is to kill it. Nevertheless, time for your video ideas. And it is the following comment that basically entirely made me make this video, because Jesus Christ, that's a lot of video ideas. Talk about different facets of the fan base, cosplay at cons, fanfiction, subreddits, Discord, etc. Well, fair play. This is what I like to call sub-fan bases. See, the way they work is that there is a fan base, and then suddenly that fan base is large enough to grow into multiple goddamn places. Sure, we all like Undertale. However, if you join one of these particular communities, then people may have different opinions about Undertale. For example, one of the biggest sub-fan bases is the Fury fan base. And sub-fan bases can actually grow large enough to have sub-fan bases of their own. For example, the Fury sub-fan base has two sub-fan bases, is the ones that know and that don't know that they are in the Fury sub-fan base. Like, a lot of people think their Furies are just canon. A lot of people are in this one. And they are very confident about being in that one. But then there are also the cosplay area, the Discords, the Reddits, and all of the AUs. And there's a ton more, like Tumblr and general art community. Also, you can be in multiple sub-fan bases at once. If you are on this layer, you can be in any single one of them. You can be in all of them combined, or in just some of them. However, sub-fan bases can sometimes be mutually exclusive. Now, the commenter asked for my opinion about them. And well, frankly, I don't know enough about most of them to actually have an opinion on them, but I'm going to generalize people and say my opinion about them. So this subclass can go fuck themselves. This subclass are fucking chill people, and I love having conversations with them because, frankly, having different opinions and different theories is really cool if you actually discuss it in a healthy manner and not like that. Cosplayers are fucking sick. I wanna meet a cosplayer. I wanna go to Gamescom and run into a goddamn cosplayer of Undertale. That'd be fucking sick. Discord. I genuinely can't find them. Okay, I know how to find some of them, like there's the Reddit one, which is, you know, that's how you get into two. There's the Reddit Discord, and then there's a bunch of AU Discord. Most of the Discords aren't public, so you can't just find them, and you have to go through hoops to find them. So even though my biggest external site is Discord, I do not know where you're coming from. And the one time I asked, I was just ignored. And then the AUs. Entirely dependent on the AU. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest, I love talking to some of y'all, but like, some others of y'all, I don't like you. I just simply do not. Anyway, that's that video idea. Roasting and toasting the characters. What do you love/hate about each one? Now, I'm going to assume this is talking about Undertale, and Deltarune. You know what? Let's do that one, yeah. Now, we're gonna talk about the major characters of Undertale and Deltarune. And when I say major, I mean major. Undertale. Toriel. Genuinely a nice goddamn character. It just feels so warm. Every single line she says is just very warm towards the character. Of course, like literally every character in Undertale except Papyrus, she has a flaw as well. She is very too overprotective over humans and, you know, blames herself for the humans leaving her place. One of the last lines you hear her say before you leave the ruins is actually, I can't, like, help any child. Like, I'm that useless. She's self-deprecating. She puts way too much stuff on her shoulders. She is caring, and you know what? I love every part of that conflict. I love the snail fact. I love the pie and the fact that whatever answer you give doesn't goddamn matter because she's just gonna combine it. Toriel is just genuinely a good character. The only weird thing is that she's not the only one in the ruins. And there's other people there too. Which doesn't make that much sense in my mind, but that's not her character. That's just the world. Flowey! Little shit! Now, Flowey, just alone, not Asriel, we're talking about Flowey here. A bit of a bitch. Now, of course, it's all meant to be the case, because you see, Flowey is literally just a soulless child. A child that can't feel emotions. So, it's a child's understanding of the world portrayed without emotion, meaning, basically, I am evil, hee hee hee. It's a child's understanding of that, which makes sense. But you know, it is cringe sometimes. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, how you gonna sit there and say is be or be killed by looking like a sunflower? Motherfucker, I can boot you in the floor. I can rip your petals one by one. What you gonna do? Shoot a pellet at me? I have determination, you little fuck boy. Nevertheless, sad. I love the jokes. I love the serious part of his character. I love that he's ambiguous enough so people can interpret him how they want. I love that you can interpret him to be a scientist. I love that you can interpret him to not be a scientist. It's really just... Sans kind of represents Undertale as a whole, where if you want to dig deeper into the story of a character or the story of the entire world, you're going to have to make interpretations because the answer is not given to you. And that same idea goes for Undertale as well. And having a main character of Sans being so mysterious is genuinely refreshing and cool. And also, he has depression. Whoopsie daisy. It's probably more nihilism than depression, but you know, it's still a character flaw, which he actually overcomes in Pacifist. That's the whole speech that he does. That's what the whole speech is about. He has character development in the Pacifist route, like every other person. You just don't really see it, because if you only play the Pacifist route and only read that dialogue in the context of the Pacifist route, it doesn't really make any sense to you, but you know, he had this character development off screen. But ultimately, he did have character development. Papyrus. He's a perfect little boy. Papyrus, my precious. Do you really think I'm gonna talk any shit about Papyrus? Any shit? Absolutely goddamn not. Papyrus is my G, my favorite, my F-O-N. I don't know what that means. Fun. But like, he's the only character main character in the entire game that doesn't actually have a flaw. Of course, you can call his naivete a flaw, but you know, he never gets rid of that. Because Toby doesn't actually think naivete is a flaw. And I don't think it either. You know, everyone else actually overcomes their flaws. Papyrus? Well, Papyrus don't have no flaws. He don't need to overcome nothing. And he's based for that. Well, let me give this an approval and disapproval of the characters. Next one. Undyne. I love most of it. I love the energy. I love what you're trying to do here. I love the genocide thingy. But I don't like one itty bitty thing about your Missy. Why do I call her Missy? I'm going to fucking get stabbed to death if I do that in real life. Okay, so her date, quote unquote. She reveals that she's been lying to Papyrus, only, you know, making him cook. And, you know, just so he doesn't have to be a part of the royal guard. And that is never resolved. That's the one thing I don't like. But, you know, other than that, hey, Metaton! That's a certified yeah. What can I say? I'm an entertainer. I like entertainers. This guy is an entertainer. He do the dance moves. He do the publicize, and I don't know. I forgot how to English for a moment there. He's great, is the thing. I don't got no deep analysis of him. He cares about Elphys, but other than that, I don't got no deep analysis of him. So we're gonna move on to Elphys, and you've seen the video. The way her character flaw, which isn't a character flaw, by the way, it's just a character quirk, but she's annoying as fuck, so I see it as a character flaw that never gets overcome, is addressed in the game, is not great. See, after Elphys upgrades your phone, you're able to receive messages, so every time you receive a message, you're stopped in your tracks, pull out your phone, and read said message. Now, as a joke, Elphys is, you know, constantly typing status updates, which you have to read. Basically, how the whole thing goes is game design. It's just annoying. It's just annoying. What I also don't like about Elphys is the fact that, fun fact, she don't get no retribution. She fucking kills people, morphs them together, making amalgamates, never telling the goddamn families for years. And what happens? Nothing. She gets her happily ever after. What do you mean? What the absolute fuck? Like, put her in a jail cell for like at least 10 years. And then we can talk about happy ending. Asgore, favorite character, gets his own video. Asriel. I mean, he makes sense. He makes, as a character, complete sense. And the soul, when he has the soul back, he is a genuinely loving child and just a good kid. It's a shame, though, that some things just don't add up to me. Like, yeah, the god of hyperdeath is something a child comes up with, but like, we didn't see that anywhere. Like, I would find it way cooler, and I think this is a genuine missed opportunity, if like there was a drawing of the god of hyperdeath in Asriel's room in the New Home. That'd be fucking sick. And that's the one thing I don't like, but like, like, you know, the rest of it is just, you know, it's really good. Toby Fox is a really good writer, guys. Deltarune. Chris, we haven't seen enough to actually judge, but the things we've seen so far are very interesting. They create a lot of intrigue, and we can actually see a lot of Chris's things by just playing the game. For example, Chris can play the piano, but we, the person controlling Chris, cannot play the piano. Or at least we don't have enough control over Chris to accurately move our fingers about to actually play the piano good. So yeah, that's another, like, these are so many subtle things that are in the entirety of Deltarune concerning with Chris, that you have to actively read like through the lines to see things about Chris and knowing Chris. It's very great writing, I do believe. Susie basically gets the entirety of chapter 1 to herself and her character growth. But like, I'm gonna be absolutely honest, I'm gonna keep it $1.50 with you. I don't care about chapter 1 that much. Sure, after her transformation she is great to be around and actually fun, but like, before she changes her mind, she's like, not a good character. Sure, we're gonna probably see more of her backstory in the upcoming chapters, but with the information we have right now, she doesn't really have a reason to be a bully. So, like, right now, it's like a minus. It's not an X. It's like a minus. It's not a either, you know. We have seen one chapter of her being good, and, you know, great to be around, and one chapter of her being an asshole, so, you know, with chapter 3, this is probably gonna be a, you know, checkmark. Noelle, she basically gets the entirety of chapter 2, and fuck. Yeah, I can't argue against Noelle, alright? Every part about her character is just intrigue, actually cool, she's fun to be around, she's shy, which is not a character trait we had in the first chapter. It's just genuinely nice to see. I made a whole video on that. King. I'm gonna be completely honest. I think King is like a big reason why chapter 1 didn't perform as well as Undertale, because, you know, chapter 2 had a big spike in popularity, but chapter 1, it really didn't. We gotta remember, chapter 1 was like, and so I think King was a big part of that, because King is basically just, I'm evil, and I don't have a reason, which is not the way Toby usually writes his villains. So yeah, when he showed up, I was like majorly uninterested, actually. But maybe he's gonna get a motivation, a bigger motivation than the roaring, of course, or maybe the roaring is gonna get explained, and, you know, they'll actually tell us why King would want that. Presumably he has been briefed, unlike Queen, on the roaring, because, you know, the knight might have actually had a chance to talk to him. Queen. Yeah, I'm giving that a check mark. You already know, I don't need to justify myself. Linsa! His comedic duo with Susie is the greatest thing I have ever seen. The fact that even in chapter 1 he isn't an evil boy, he's just a bouncy little pumpkin. I love it. He's my boy. For real, for real. Jevil. I'm gonna be completely honest. He is just too far gone to be interesting to me. From looking at it from purely a story perspective, it makes sense. The point is that these secret bosses are all corrupted by something, and we probably will see the stages of corruption. Jevil is entirely corrupted. You can't get anything intelligible out of him. He's too far gone to be of any note. But I don't like that. I don't want to see that. Thematically, it makes sense, and what he says can still be interpreted, but, like, his mind is at 0%, or maybe at 5%. Like, Jevil is at 5%, Spampton is at, like, 15%. It's a lot more, and you can read a lot more into his lines, which is, of course, why Jevil is actually a goddamn checkmark, because Spampton is entirely, like, connected to his chapter. He's an unavoidable fight, and actively tells you how to do the secret boss, while Jevil fucking didn't. Like, to know that Jevil even exists, you have to go up an elevator, go out of the elevator, go back into the elevator for some reason, click the button to the basement, and then you find Jevil, which is not a good design, Toby. Like, it's just not good. But Svampton actually tells you where he is. Svampton is intertwined with his chapter in the Weird Route. He is the final boss. It's just good. Okay, next one. This was only 2. There's heaven. Rank the Riz. Which characters have the best fashion? Those are 2 separate questions. However, I can just tell you right goddamn now. Riz. Nobody here has any Riz. Like, Noelle sucks balls at Riz. Like, in the Riz department, we gotta give her a minus. With a lot more minuses through it. Like, that is horrid. Susie is like a single minus, cause she isn't picking up that Noelle obviously likes her. Chris, we don't know. we just don't know. But based on the fact that they keep on scaring Noelle for absolutely no reason, it's probably a minus. Birdly, that's a plus, baby. King, that's a minus with a lot more minuses through it. Like, that's, no, absolutely goddamn not. Queen, that's a plus. Yeah, she won me over. Lancer is a child. That is a child. Wait, those are 2. Fuck it. I gave none of them pluses. Well, I gave Birdly a plus. Never mind. Make that minus. It's a child. No. No matter how many people want Sean to fuck Jevil, he doesn't have Riz. Spampton. No. I don't think anyone's gonna fall for the scam Riz. Asriel. Child. Asgore. That's a plus. He had a wife. You know, that's gotta be something. And she didn't leave because the relationship was bad. She left because he started killing children and didn't go, outside of the border with him. So, that's on him. Elphys, that's a minus, but like a double minus. Metaton, that's a plus if I've ever seen one. That's a double plus, actually. Undyne will literally just kick you in the balls. Like Undyne, her way of flirting, kick you in the balls, fucking uppercut you, and then catch your body flying down with a kiss. Like, that's a plus. No, I mean, Papyrus. You've seen the date. You've seen the date. Yeah, you've seen the date. Sans. I think I'm just gonna not answer that one, actually. Flowey. Child. Toriel literally had a husband and is the one to leave. So, yeah, they literally loving couple. And that was the Riz, and now the fashion sense. Now, I'm gonna be honest here. I absolutely brain rotted myself into thinking all of them are peak. Like, Sans, objectively, is not that great at fashion. However, I'd give him an S. Like, these designs are all peak. I'd give them all S. Like, I can't decide that the fashion sense is bad while giving the character design an S. I'm not outfitted for that, so we're gonna skip. Rate how good the characters are at their jobs. Is Sans a good brother? Is Toriel a good queen? Etc. Well, to be fair, Toriel fucking sucks as queen. She just left. Like, imagine having a kingdom to rule, and you're like, nah, seen enough, goodbye. Like, that's not how that works. At least that's not how it should work. Like, Toriel straight up sucks. Let's write it down. Sans, as a brother, he's a great brother. Now, we're not going to theorize about any roles, because then he would not be a greatest scientist because he's in Snowden all day. But, like, as a brother, he fired. Now, Flowey, as, like, a determination guy, bad. Like, genuinely bad. Like, sure, Flowey has seen everything. However, like, come on. You waited so long that another person with determination fell down? Like, that's a skill issue. That's a bad one. Papyrus, great brother. Great at making puzzles. So he's just great. Undyne, hero of the underground, head of the royal guard. That's a great goddamn performance, I'm gonna be honest. With the exception of if you spare her in a neutral run and then kill after sparing her, she doesn't actually come and stop you. But you can ignore that. Metaton, as an entertainer, I'm gonna be completely honest, I was thoroughly entertained. Elphys fucking sucks so many giant monster balls. She can't do anything right. Half of the issues in Undertale were created specifically by her. Like, imagine sucking so much at your scientist job that you not only create Flowey, but then go ahead and create the amalgamates and create literally every problem. Anyway, as a king, I'm gonna be completely honest, even though Toby Fox disagrees. I wrote, why do I always say type? I wrote king, even though I'm supposed to write how well he did. I may be stupid, I may have a doo-doo brain. He's a good king. Like, I don't know what Toby is on when he says that Asgo isn't the greatest king. He is. He genuinely just is. Sure, he has a war with the humans going on, but like, as a king, he is great. He goes around to his population, actually doing the goddamn legwork. He is actively training his royal guard, and he has enough compassion to not want to go out there and kill the people you're at war with. That's great, actually. Fuck you, Toby. Anyways, Asriel sucks as a child. Like, imagine dying. Fucking hell. Chris, student. They're probably like kind of mid, I'm gonna be honest. Susie is kind of fucking sucks at this whole being a student thing. Noelle is actually excellent at being a student. Bertley is, you know what, he actually is kind of mid. He just kind of looks at Noelle and sees how she does. You know, it's fine. King, as a king, fucking sucks. Like, it's crazy how bad he is. Queen, kind of rules? She kind of ruled, though. She kind of ruled, though. She kind of rules. Lancer, being a bouncy little boy, he's the greatest. Drevel is a bad, actually, yeah, he sucks at his job. He is a prisoner and thinks everyone else is in prison. He fucking sucks at this whole being in prison thing. Spampton, salesman, well, he kinda mid, because, like, he was a great salesman until he wasn't. Then he didn't even get a single buy. Like, he has to be mid. And that's that. This is taking a while. Who has the best living space? If you were gonna trade homes with a character, whose and why? Papyrus, because we actually get to see Papyrus's room, and this bro likes to take care of stuff. He has a race car bed. I want a race car bed. I'm a beta fucking male. I got a normal ass bed. We don't really get to see nothing about Undyne. It's like fine. It's like fine. And for the royal family, Asgo and Toriel's house, they are shit. They suck. Like, sure, they are great if you like those kinds of places. But, like, I would much rather have 2 floors than, like, a giant fuck-off hallway. Which foods of the underground are the yummiest and grossest? I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm gonna be absolutely honest. There's actually a way to find that out canonically, and it's the amount of HP it heals. That's, you know... Be a therapist to a character, ask them about problematic areas of their behavior. As a joke, you can be an unethical therapist. That goes so hard, I'm using that as an actual video. Be a cross-examiner and accuse the characters of crimes and poke holes in their excuses. For you see, that video will release after 5K. For a very specific purpose. If they had a regular, modern-day job, what would each character work as? Now, looking at this list. Toriel, we already know. That's a teacher right there, look at her. And fun fact, we also know Alphys. That's a teacher right there. Why not scientist, you ask? Well, Deltarune literally tells us it's a teacher. And 2, she not good at science. We know this. We just talked about it. Flowey. I think he just robbed banks. Yeah, I think he just do crime. Asriel. He'd be dead. Chris would go to school. Susie would go to school. Noelle would go to school. Bertley would go to school. King would go to school. No, King would be a criminal again. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't have any trust in King. I think Queen would be a comedian. I think the comedy routine, like emergency comedy protocol that Queen always has. Like, I don't think anyone is gonna get bored of that. A comedian Queen. Like, you can heckle with Queen. She on the goddamn stage, and you can tell her stuff, and she gonna reply. I'd buy out every goddamn venue. Would go to school, but actually skip it. Jevil would kill himself so that he isn't trapped within this mortal coil. I don't fucking know. Spamton. You would say salesman, but like, nah, he's not that great. He'd probably be a comedian, but like without knowing. Like he'd go on a stage and just randomly start rambling, and everyone would laugh because they think it's jokes, but in actuality it's just him. Undyne, we saw it, police. Metaton, and yeah, like we saw it, entertainer. Asgore, we actually saw him be police force. But we also saw him being a gardener, and that was in Undertale, and I wrote this one in the Undertale version, so gardener. Also, I momentarily forgot about his flower shop. That's on me, but he would probably first be a gardener, so I'm gonna write that one down. And now, Papyrus. So what I think would happen with Papyrus is he'd try cooking, and then everyone would tell him his cooking sucks. And then he'd stop cooking and cry, and then Sans would be like, hey, how about you try that one more time? And then he'd be a great cook because Sans is doing it secretly. However, if Sans wasn't doing that, what would Sans be? We literally saw it in Undertale, I don't know. He's a comedian. He literally has comedy gigs in Metaton Hotel. Of course he does that. And with that, we did it. What do you mean you are running out of video ideas? You have every Undertale AU to review. It's infinite contact hack for real. Which is technically true, but I don't want to do that. See, right now my content is kind of caught in between two truths. I enjoy making these whiteboard videos. Undertale whiteboard videos get a ton of views. I like the more experimental ones. Those don't get views. So, when I talk about an Undertale AU, I talk about one that I actually enjoy to get as much enjoyment out of it as possible so I don't have a burnout. That's why I talked about Dr. Megalo. That's why I talked about Dusttail. You know, I talk about stuff I enjoy. Mostly, basically, for me to talk about something, I gotta care. So, if you see a video pop up on your feed, it's not because of views. It's because I genuinely care about the topic I'm talking about. Or think it would be a fun question to answer on a video. And I don't necessarily want to talk about most Undertale AUs. I'm gonna be completely honest. And one thing I certainly don't want to talk about is the Dusttail fan game, because it's not done. I wanna experience it from start to finish. I don't like demos. I don't like early access where I have to cut off at a certain point. I just don't like that. So I'm gonna wait until the I don't know SP Underswap. It was Underswap. What the fuck am I talking about? When the Underswap fan game is finished, I'm gonna play through it in the entirety over on Twitch. I'm gonna upload it to YouTube, and it's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna make a video about it. Maybe. Like, I don't know if it's gonna be awesome. I haven't tried it. I haven't watched anything of it. I just wanna experience it all. And I don't really care about Deltarune AUs. Sorry. I know there's really good ones like Deltarune Chapter Rewritten, where it's basically Underswap, but in Deltarune Chapter 1, and I just don't care. I just don't. Sorry. Genuinely, I think Deltarune has the better plot hook. I think it's more interesting than Undertale, but I don't think it has as much potential when it comes to, like, Undertale-like AUs. You can make AUs in Deltarune, which are interesting on their own. Delta Traveler is one of them. But you can't really do what Undertale had, where you just have a bunch of AUs of the story without feeling weird. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. But also, that was 2 comments, you might say. And that is true, because the other ones were asking me to do non-Undertale things, and I kind of want this video to be focused on Undertale. So if you want me to make, I don't know, any other video ideas, I'm never gonna make this kind of video again, because, like, what is even that? But if you want to share your video ideas in the comment section right now, you can go ahead and do that. And I may be making a video on that. I don't know yet. I haven't seen your comments. Anyway, give me 5,000 subscribers, please. Like, the thing I needed to finish is finished. I just need to work on the video for it, which is unlucky. So yeah, it should be fine. I think it should come out reasonably after I hit 5K, which presumably will take about a month. So yeah, I forgot my outro for that second there, because you see, my fit goes absolutely goddamn hard. Cue the clown.